Florida county schools issue new bathroom policy based on sex at birth, assigned at birth. Pasco County students will soon be required to use school bathrooms and locker rooms based on their sex assigned at birth. County Superintendent Kurt Browning announced the new policy, citing a court ruling from last month in St. Johns County. In that case, the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals backed a district policy that stopped a trans male high school student from using the boys' bathroom. Pasco students who don't want to use the bathroom aligned with their sex assigned at birth will be able to ask for accommodations to use a single-stall private restroom. LGBTQ+ advocates worry the rule will be harmful to transgender and non-binary students' safety, health, and well-being, and they question how it's going to be enforced. At Tuesday's school board meeting, LGBTQ advocates who were dressed in purple pleaded with the board not to change its bathroom policy. Equality Florida spokesperson Brandon Wolf said, quote, "That ruling doesn't compel any district to abandon any policies for transgender students. The only thing that the court case did is say that districts have the discretion to provide that kind of spaces for students that they deem fit. The decision by the superintendent in Pasco is discretionary decision to not provide access to facilities in schools that are affirming transgender and non-binary students," end quote. Goodness, this is, I really appreciate the statement from Wolf here, who, by the way, is a survivor of Pulse and has become such an important spokesperson for so many different causes. But it is a misreading of, as we understand it, no doubt, of that. And I think this is so incredibly dangerous. We've learned, I mean, this is a slippery slope of how easily it is to, in this climate in particular, to deny people access to basic needs. And it really does put lots of people at high risk, right?
I mean, as a parent who sits here with a child in high school, the last time I've heard any news story about a Board of Education across the state of Florida talking about things like reading, writing, math, scores, it's been a really long time. And if I looked last, I don't know what the ranking is, but I didn't see Florida as #1 on the list. So I would challenge Florida educators to focus on education and less focus on where people are peeing.
But the problem here is not the educators. Educators are the frontline people. They are the principals. They are the teachers. These are not those. These are the politically elected supervisors and board members who are imposing their political ideology on the education system, specifically to inflict cruel and unusual punishments on the LGBTQ community. They don't care about the quality of education. They just want to inflict pain on the gay and lesbian, transsexual and bisexual students.
So when I was in high school, we didn't even have doors on the stalls. Like, it was that much of what I want to say, that little of concern to the administration. But my thing is, why are we becoming more and more concerned with what's happening in bedrooms and in bathrooms and in private spaces across the country? Where is Freud when we need him? Like, I want to go back and understand our obsession with what's going on there. Can't people just have a space to relieve themselves?
You know, it's funny because I really think that is probably the bullet point of the entire argument of what we're watching and what they're doing. The answer, however, I don't think is the answer that you would be looking for, because the answer has nothing to do with peeing in a bathroom. The answer of the why is because I'm going to win elections by 1,000,009 votes for governor and U.S. senator in the state of Florida, because these type of culture wars rile a base, spill over the base into those that think that they're more independent-minded, but somehow they've characterized that my parental rights are being taken away, and so therefore I believe it, and I'm voting for the crazy governor and the crazy senator. And I think, honestly, that that's the answer to the question. And if that is true, then I think our obligation is to figure out how we're going to deal with that particular problem. Our advocacy, with all due respect to Wolf from Equality Florida, our organizations, our advocacy organizations are going to have to redefine what we're doing in Florida, or we're not going to even be in the fight. And we're currently not even in the fight. So it means we can't approach it the way we did 4 years ago or 8 years ago or 10 years ago, because it is not successful.
Just to provide a slight glimmer of hope to end this because I like to think about how we can best move forward, right? It also reminds me a little bit what happened in North Carolina, right? I mean, that is, it's certainly moving in that kind of direction. That was a government, that is a statewide ban and very clear, what was known as the bathroom bill. And once it started hitting them in the pocketbooks, right? That is, once it started hurting them financially, North Carolina really did have to change some of its policies. And I wonder, I mean, this is what the kind of Disneyfication of these debates currently in Florida, and what this is going to look like for a tourism-dependent state like Florida and many other things. But that is, how is this going to affect money? I mean, it's going to be a big part of this equation.
It is.
All right.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.